I heard Pikachu got a huge major buff, and I know you guys who are out there playing Pikachu all day, every day. You mains out there super excited, rejoice right now, because Pikachu is in a very, very good spot in the metagame. He was in a good spot prior to this buff, because he got buffed recently, before that one. So at the end of the day, Pikachu is still doing great, but there's a lot of melee bruisers right now. Chisrina, Dragonite, it's very, very, you gotta be very, very careful of your positioning when playing this Pokemon. We're gonna get into it though. We're gonna have a good time. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all those around the world. Welcome back to the Pokemon Unite video featuring Pikachu in the Master Rank. Let's see what we got going on here underneath the hood. So for those of you that don't know how this works, Pikachu has a passive ability called Paralyze, right? His basic attack, his third auto attack from that, will slow the enemy Pokemon. It doesn't stun them, it just slows them down, okay? Keep that in mind. Now, your passive ability, this is your passive. This passive is different from your basic attack autos. Your passive has a 30-second cooldown, okay? So you paralyze Pokemon who get next to you. In other words, you slow them down when they're next to you. This ability, when you receive damage though, but this ability has a 30-second cooldown window. Keep that in mind. It's different from your paralyze on your basic attacks, okay? Now, Thundershock has been buffed during this patch. The damage has increased, which is nice. It helps you out in the early game in lane and helps you clear the jungle a lot quicker. We all know what Electro Ball is. Electro Ball, it's not a skill shot, it's a short hit. It's a guaranteed hit from a long distance. It does damage, and the damage is increased the lower the opponent's HP is. So it's kind of like, almost like an Execute, kind of similar to Surf a little bit. It does a little bit more than what it states here. So you throw Electro Ball, right? It paralyzes, so it slows the enemy down a little bit, and damages them, and it also hits nearby enemies that's next to it. That's wild Pokemon, enemy Pokemon, doesn't matter. The damage is increased depending on the remaining HP of the opposing Pokemon. So the lower the health, the more damage it does. It caps off about like 1200 DPS or what have you, like the increase, you know what I mean? But treat it kind of like an Execute, kind of like Surf Greninja, okay? Just a little bit. Now, Thunder has also been increased. The damage dealt for Thunder has gone up, and this just essentially, you choose a location on the ground, you drop Thunder, and it does strikes of lightning inside that area. Alright, that's all that does. Now, for your bread and butter here, you have Volt Tackle and Thunderbolt, excuse me. Electro Web, we all know what that is, we don't need to go over that one. So these are what you would choose here, generally speaking. Volt Tackle has been increased in terms of DPS with this patch, okay? Keep that in mind. It does more damage than it has done before, which is phenomenal. But Volt Tackle, you can use this as a disengage or an engage, because when you activate Volt Tackle, let's say you Volt Tackle a target and it kicks you back after you Volt Tackle. So you can jump over a wall, you can angle yourself to jump over a, like where the jungle camps are, like the little buff walls or what have you. You can jump over those walls if you choose to. Just remember, when you activate Volt Tackle, it kicks you backwards, okay? Now, Thunderbolt, on the other hand, this is an AoE area, kind of like Thunder, but it stuns everybody in it. It has a ranged skill shot, but it stuns everybody in that vicinity, so you can set up kills with this ability. For this game particularly, we're going to go Thunderbolt. We're going to go Thunder. We're going to have a great time. Let's get into it. See you guys in a minute. Uh-oh, we're coming up here for our very first game card. Ready, level 5, ready for Bees, or Beartic, whatever you want to call him right now. As Pikachu coming through the jungle in a Master Rank game. We're able to clear these bees off, no problem, just because we're running Thunder. Easy peasy. Anyway, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all those around the world. Welcome back to another Pokemon Unite video featuring Pikachu coming through the jungle in the Master Rank. Hopefully you guys are very excited for this, for all you Pikachu mains out there. I know there are some very, very good Pikachu players. There are some Pikachu players that are still trying to learn the Pokemon and the ins and outs of how he works. I'm dropping our very first Master Rank Pikachu guide on our channel here. Hopefully it does well. Hopefully people out there can reply, drop comments down there, tell me what I did wrong or what other things have been working for you. But we're going to get into it. Today we're playing Pikachu here in the jungle, right? Now, mind you, he does really, really well in the jungle. He does really, really well in lane because he has been buffed. This patch and the patch before, they buffed his Thunder, buffed Thunderbolt damage. In this patch specifically, they buff Volt Tackle, and then they buff his Unite move. His Unite move is crazy now. It charges really, really quick. I'm talking about Charizard levels. I'm talking about, what's the other Pokemon? Charizard. We're getting Talonflame levels of Unite move, charge rate. It's kind of crazy. Pikachu is in a very, very good spot right now with these new buffs, and I'm glad to see it because he needs it. Look at that Thunderbolt Thunder combination into a Hyper Voice. Let's go, boys. It's just, Pikachu is really, really strong right now, okay? Like, really, really good. You gotta keep in mind, you're playing against Dragonites, you're playing against Jashrinas. As long as you can position yourself well with this Pokemon, you can do phenomenal. You really can. And a lot of people like to write him off as not very good. I don't want to say he's not very good, because he's got buffed twice recently, because he needed them, but at the same time, he was being underrated. You know what I mean? And now, everybody and their brother's playing Pikachu on your team, enemy team. You're not seeing him as much as Talonflame or Dragonite right now, but you know what I'm saying? He's here, and he's here to stay. We're going to get into his kit and see what he's all about for those of you who don't know how to play Pikachu, or don't know how to play against Pikachu, or what have you. He has a passive ability called Static, okay? It's a little bit different than what you may think. It does not stun targets, okay? It slows enemy Pokemon down when they're next to you, when they deal damage to you. It has a 30-second cooldown, okay? His passive Static is different than his auto attacks. So his fully charged auto attacks also apply Static, and Static will slow the target down. They have different cooldowns, obviously, but keep that in mind. Thundershock got buffed this patch, so it does a lot more damage in the early game in lane when you're clearing out those core fishes, when you're coming through the jungle. It does a lot more damage than it has done before. It also slows them down, gives them a paralyzed proc as well. Now, a lot of people, me included, I love playing with Electro Ball. Now, here's the thing about Electro Ball, which a lot of people don't realize, and a lot of people don't understand why it does so much DPS. So, Greninja, for example, Surf. A lot of people still didn't know about Surf. Surf is an execute ability. Alright, I say it like that because it does ridiculous amount of damage when the target is low HP. And with Surf, it resets on kills. Electro Ball doesn't reset on kills, but it does ridiculous amount of damage the lower the target's HP is. Alright, so keep that in mind. If you're low health and Electro Ball hits you and you're wondering why it did so much damage, that's why. It has an execute-like ability within Electro Ball. It doesn't state that on the text within Pokemon Unite, okay? It doesn't show that. What I'm telling you here, it does execute amount of damage when you're low HP, okay? Now, it does 4% of the enemy's missing HP when you're low health, for those of you that like numbers. Sadly enough, Venusaur was able to take me out, obviously, because he evolved and it's Venusaur. He always has his Nikes on with Petal Dance. And by the way, he's been nerfed last patch, and he's still doing a ridiculous amount of damage. I had a game yesterday versus a Venusaur who did 135k damage, boys. 135k. And he was running Petal Dance. I think that's absurd. And we still can't get buffs to Gengar, we still can't get buffs to Pokemon that actually need them right now. Instead, we continue to nerf Venusaur, but for what? Because it's not showing anything. Like, he's still running around doing a ridiculous amount of damage. It's crazy. But I digress. Pikachu got his buffs, which he absolutely needed. You know what I mean? He was being underrated beforehand, and now he's actually in a very, very good situation. We're down here trying to get this Dreadnought. We should be able to successful. We should be able to take it down. Now, when it comes to Pikachu right now, I like to play him as a supportive DPS. I run Thunderbolt, Thunder, 90% of the time. Sometimes I'll take Volt Tackle and Thunder, but I like to run Thunderbolt and Thunder. I like to be able to set up kills for my team if I can. Thunderbolt is an AoE stun that does damage on top of Thunder, which also does an AoE ability that does an immense amount of burst damage. And I feel like if you can set up kills with Pikachu, be the supportive DPS, and let your team kill the targets, you're doing great. But you gotta keep in mind, I have a Sylveon, I have a Venusaur, and a Greninja. We have a Petal Dance, we have a Hyper Voice, and we have Water Shuriken right now. We're doing fine on terms of DPS. So if I can lock a target down with Thunder, I'm gonna do it. Or Thunderbolt, I'm gonna do it. And I assume my DPS will follow through. But this is solo queue. You know what I mean? It's very, very hard for things like that to happen in solo queue. We get this goal though, which is definitely worth it. Although I'm probably going to get myself killed for it. It's fine. We got the goal. It's alright. Now, as long as Sylveon gets out of here, we should be good. But, again, Venusaur Petal Dance up 24/7, essentially. She ain't going nowhere. But either way though, like I said, we're running Pikachu as a supportive build, right? Just for the situation. Now, we are playing in solo queue, obviously. And that's a lot harder to do in solo queue. We know that. Because you know what you're going to do as a player. You don't know what your teammates are going to do, right? So if I sit here and I Thunderbolt this target, I expect my team to what? Follow up, deal damage. When I'm in a good position to, to deal damage, you know what I'm saying? When I'm in a good position and I stun this target, you guys shouldn't be derping around. You should be following through, getting this target killed, right? Essentially. But in a perfect game, that happens. But again, in solo queue, it's very, very rare But this is Pokemon Unite. We're playing a team game where we're supposed to play as a team to do objectives to get the game over with. Thunderbolt, this Dragonite, and Absol. Slowbro follows through with Surf and Telekinesis, and we get double kill. Double kill. You know what I'm saying? It's just things like that Pikachu shines at. Setting up kills, getting kills for his team, getting objectives like this. It's phenomenal. But again, in solo queue, you don't know really what's going to happen. But come in the game with that mindset of, I'm here to play as a team. Alright? Every single game you hop into, regardless of your team composition, regardless if you call jungle first or the enemy calls jungle and they sit here and fight about it, just forget about it. Alright? You do you. Do the best that you can do on your team every single game. Because if you're sitting here and you're making mistakes, right? In life, you're making mistakes. League of Legends, Pokemon, you know, at your job, at your work, what have you, it doesn't matter. Because the thing is about you making mistakes, you need to learn from these mistakes. It doesn't matter how big or how small these mistakes are. The important part is you don't repeat them. You know what I mean? And I know that's hard sometimes, but as long as you're learning from these mistakes and getting better, that's all you can ask for. You know what I'm saying? Where Dragonite over here is trying to take down this Articuno, and I'm Pikachu at a distance. I don't need to Volt Tackle him, get myself possibly in a bad spot. If I can do it from a distance, if he's safe about it, go for it. You know what I'm saying? Regardless, they do take down the Articuno because Hyper Voice on Sylveon. It is what it is. It's fine. We're still ahead. Slowbro got killed in that team fight. He doesn't get a chance to score. Dragonite also didn't get a chance to score. Absol's dead as well. Hopefully I can get this goal in before they come down here and stop me. Sadly enough, he does make it. Hyper Beam does a chunk of damage to me. But considering Buddy Barrier, right? Because we're running Buddy Barrier, we got Shell Bell down there and Focus Band. We're doing great. Now, for those of you that don't know, for this item builds here, hopefully Slowbro can crowd control this Venusaur. Oh, right, now he's not moving at all. But in any case, for this item build on Pikachu, I am running Shell Bell, Focus Band, and Buddy Barrier. Buddy Barriers need no explanation. Shell Bell you can swap out for Choice Specs, Wise Glasses if you choose to do so. I enjoy Shell Bell because it gives me that added healing in team fights and gives my abilities a lower cooldown, i.e. Thunderbolt and Thunder. That way I can stun more frequently. You can swap that down with the other two DPS if you choose to. But when it comes to Buddy Barrier, I think that's a must. Focus Band, you can use Amplifier if you choose to, but Focus Band works for me because like I said, I like to play as a supportive Pikachu, but each their own. Hopefully, you guys have learned something new when it comes to Pikachu. If not, hopefully you guys liked the video. Come join the Discord. Come tell me I suck. Come say hi, man. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to all those around the world. Please stay safe out there. Alright, stay safe. I'll catch you guys in the very next video. I'm out.